Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 131 of Explode, your expert business show brought to you by gtex.org.uk. I am your host, Simone Vincenzi, the Experts Strategist, and this is the podcast for experts who want to become the ultimate authority in their niche while making an impact in the world. And today, I have the pleasure to interview our GTeX Lifetime Member, Riana Avis. And we are talking about be the leader, grow yourself, grow your business. For those of you that don't know Riana, she makes processes palatable for people who know they need them, but would rather get on with something else. She brings focus, patience, and wealth of knowledge and experience so that you can get results you want in your business and your life with ease and grace. So if you are a business owner and you're interested in processes, systems, leadership, Riana is the person for you. And in this episode, we talk about the three pillars of leadership, a timeless lesson from Nelson Mandela, Riana being South African. We're going to have great conversation around it. And also how to lead your business to success. You cannot miss this episode. Make sure you listen until the end. You can read the interview transcript and get also bonus resources on our website, www.gtex.org.uk/episode iPhone 131. And also you can connect with the Riana in the links that are in the show notes. There is the opportunity if you want to become and apply to become a GTeX member, you can apply and become a GTeX member. They're in the show notes. And also if you want to make six-figure presentation, become awesome at selling from the stage but without compromising your integrity, then I've created the ultimate selling from the stage checklist, which is the most comprehensive checklist to create a bitch that sells without being sleazy and manipulative. The link again is in the show notes. Make sure you get it. And also join our community, join our Facebook group, Explode Your Expert Biz. You will be able to connect with our lifetime members. You will be able to connect with all the guests that we have on our show, and also to ask me any question any day of the week. I'm always there to help and support you. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now. I'm looking forward now to hear from you and for you to join the Facebook group and download these bonus resources. But now it's time to hear it from Riana Avis. Be the leader, grow yourself, grow your business. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Explode Your Expert Biz Show. I'm here today with the one and only Riana Avis. How are you doing, Riana?
I'm doing great, thank you, Simone.
Fantastic. I'm really excited about this interview. Today we are going to talk about leadership, and we are going to dive deep into this topic, which is so important for us as business owners, because we are leading ourselves all the time, we are leading other people all the time. So I'm really excited to hear your thoughts, your advice, your inputs on this. But before we get started, how come did you got so passionate about leadership?
Well, yes, sometimes it's quite a long story, but the short version of that is that somewhere in my life, I realized that if I wanted to live life according to my rules, according to what I wanted, and not just according to what somebody else was saying, it ought to be like this, that, or the other, I'm going to have to take control. I'm going to have to step up. I'm going to have to lead myself. And I guess that's where my interest started. And then you start looking at, well, what are the other people? Who else do you look up to? Who else can you learn from that has that sort of attitude? And then you start growing and digging deeper and learning things which helps you later on in your life and that you can pass on to your clients.
And so when you, at what point did you realize, okay, leadership is gonna be my field? Is there is there a story or something that happened that got you to choose that field instead of another one?
I think it was when I got involved with Nelson Mandela's story. about how he led himself, if you like, and later on his party and the South African government. But really, it started with him in prison and how he survived prison. And that story made a huge impact on me. And it was about him taking ownership of where he was and not letting everything else impact him. He was the captain of his soul. He was taking control there, and that's what we kind of have to do. And when I look at his story, at the influence he had as in the field of forgiveness, in the field of leadership, in the field of politics, we can just learn so much from him. So I guess I use him as a model, and that's where it really, really started. And to even pinpoint this story even better is we were taken to on a trip in South Africa. We were taken
because you're original from South Africa.
I am originally from South Africa. Yes. So we were taken to a trip to the prison from which he was released, which at the time was called the Victor Verster prison, and is now called the Klein Drakenstein Correctional Facility or something like that. And there was a monument outside of Nelson Mandela, and the way it was put together, every piece there was meaning to every piece. The stones around the monument represented all the people in South Africa, the white and the black sidewalk, the pavement stones, the white and black population of South Africa, everything, there were like window frames, window bars actually that were sort of bent open, and that represented the prison bars in the front of the windows, from when he was released. Everything had a meaning, and it was really there that my interest was deepened. I won't say sparked, but certainly deepened. And I started talking about Nelson Mandela and brought some of those lessons in for myself and for my clients. And I still talk about him and the 5 business lessons we can learn from Nelson and also on. So it's a topic I'm quite passionate about.
I can see we had many conversations around it, and I remember every time we were talking about it, you get really excited, you get really passionate. How come did you move from South Africa to the UK?
Yes, well, at the time I was in IT, and it was some years ago, and I don't know if you remember Y2K, the dreaded Y2K bug, when the year 1999 was going to change to 2000. And a lot of computer systems were not set up to process a 4-digit year. And so there was a lot of remedial work that had to be done. And in that time, there wasn't as much social media and or even email. So I got a lot of job offers from the States, from Canada, from Europe, from Germany, you name it. And my son said to me, he said, can you do any of these jobs? I said, yes, I can do that one, that one, that one, that one. This one's boring. That one, that one, that one, this one's boring. And I don't know, and the ball kind of started rolling. And when I asked myself, where would I go if I made such a decision? It was, well, I'll come to the UK because I had right of abode here. I was married to an Englishman, and so I could apply to be a British citizenship, a citizen. And so I had right of abode. And then, you start down a road and it just sort of gathers momentum. And I'm still here almost 20 years later.
Do you go back to South Africa every now and then?
We do. In fact, we were there about a month ago, exactly a month ago. I was still in South Africa. We were there for a month, and that was on a personal mission to sort things out for my dad. So it wasn't a holiday, but it was very intense actually. But and about every second year or so, especially as my dad's getting older now, I go back more frequently. In fact, I see him more now that I live in the UK than when I lived in Johannesburg. He's in the Western Cape.
Yeah, I was asking because no, I'm from Italy, and definitely is much closer than taking a flight to South Africa. But there are some times where I miss, in particularly, my family there, or well, there is the sun and the good weather, and all these kind of things. So that's why I was curious about if you're going back, you're missing it. So now let's talk about leadership. Now let's go dive deep into leadership, because there are some really important lessons, some fundamentals in this topic. And one of the things that when we were discussing before, you mentioned was clarity. One of the things that are really important for a leader, whether you're leading yourself personally or you're leading your business, your organization, your team, in the work that as well you do for many businesses. And one key fundamental is clarity. Can you expand a bit more on that?
Well, yes. I mean, if you don't know where you want to go and what it is that you want to achieve, if you're not clear about that, how are you going to lead yourself? How are you going to lead a team? How are you going to take your business forward? And I work a lot with businesses who they're ready to make the next leap in their business, but they're not sure about exactly what that may look like. They just know that they're ready to grow, and they want to grow, but they don't have the clarity about what's it going to look like, how much do you want to earn, exactly who you're going to work with now, how many clients, what kind of systems might you need, all those kind of things. And, to some of us, it may sound like basics, but it's not. It's actually not basics. And especially when you start employing people, and you're not clear about things like what's important to you, what values do you represent, what values do you want your business to represent, and now you need somebody to work for you, and you just employ anybody off the street. It's a body who can do the work, and maybe that person can do the work, but actually they're not on, to use a hackneyed phrase, the same page as you. They don't care about the things that you care about. They don't, and you can educate them, but at the end of the day, if their values don't gel at least say 2/3 of the way with yours, it's not going to work, and you're going to have a lot of trouble. You're going to spend a lot of time working with that person. So values, for instance, is one thing to just get clarity on. And then the other thing is, where are you taking these people? These people are going to work with you, for you. Where are you taking them? What's the journey for them? And what's the journey for your client? You even have to be clear about the journey for your client. Otherwise, why would the client work with you if they're not clear about that journey? So clarity is very important, because things fall into place once you start having clarity.
It is a great is a great power, because when you are, I'm thinking about leading a team and working in an organization, and even getting people to enroll and to believe in your vision. You need to have clarity about your vision and where you're going. Otherwise, you can't explain or share the path that the people that are going to follow you are going to take. And so if you're looking at the greatest leaders of history, taking an example of Nelson Mandela as well, he was a person that knew what he wanted. He knew where he was going. And therefore people started following him, because we said, I want to go in that same direction. Thank you for showing me the path, because you gave me the clarity that I don't have. So
exactly.
Is is crucial for any organization, and I think that a lot of people don't spend enough time talking, thinking about it, right?
Absolutely. And for some it's simple. I mean, the thing that comes out the most often in my world is a client wants a new website, or I hear about clients who want new website. I'm starting a business, or my business is changing, and I need a new website. And they engage somebody to build the website for them. And then this person is the builder, the website designer builder, is wait for the content. And they wait for the content because the content's not forthcoming. And the content is yes, it's the copy that needs to be written, but it needs to be written also in a way that will engage people and get their buy-in to actually follow you. But they haven't done the deeper work. They don't know what their values are. They don't know what their core marketing strategy is, who the people are that they really, really want to work with. They don't know the three or more things that really make them stand out. They don't have a theme that they can take through their marketing. And so it's very difficult to actually write copy for a website when you've not had that kind of deeper digging to get to clarity, and it's something that evolves all the time. But the general direction stays the same. Nelson Mandela said, we want freedom for all, everyone in South Africa. And when you can summarize your vision like that in a few words, it's easy for people to come on board and follow and say, yes, I want that too.
Yeah.
But a lot of deeper digging needs to happen first so the clarity can come out of it. And it's not a done deal. You don't do it done once and it's done.
You keep working on it and keep working on it and keep working on it.
And yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know that another big principle that you follow, which is a part of your teaching, is focus. And you wrote something here that said, what you focus on expands. Can you please explain and expand on the second principle, which is focus?
Right. So I'm going to tell you a little story here because I think it fits perfectly. So I was talking to a client this morning who had quite a bad fall last week. And she's an elderly lady. She's in her 60s. And this morning she said to me, Riana, I can't believe how quickly I got over this fall. I fell back. She actually cracked her glasses. She knocked a tooth out.
Wow.
And it was, it really knocks your confidence. The older you get, you have a fall, it actually knocks your confidence. And she said, a couple of years ago, I had a fall. It took me weeks to get over it, but her focus now is very different. She's in a tremendously satisfying and happy relationship right now. Her work is going in exactly the direction she wants. She's focusing on all of those things. So the fact that she had a fall was like a little stumble, get up, dust myself off, fit, get new glasses, feel the pains. No, not really. It's fine. I'm going to enjoy going out with my partner, going for a walk, whatever it is. And she's focusing on the joyous things in her life.
Yeah.
So the shock of the fall is minimized. The previous time when she had a fall, it was, oh my gosh, I have this bad back pain. Now it's so much worse. Oh, I hurt my arm. It's so and it's just focus on where is it sore and how much is it hurting? And I must go and see a doctor and I can't see the doctor soon enough. And so what you focus on literally expands. You focus on the bad things, more bad stuff happens. You focus on the good things and more good things happen.
So how can we apply this? So how can we apply this now as a leader?
As a leader, focus on what your people do right. Focus on what you do right. Focus on what's going right in your business. Focus on if something doesn't work, how can we make it better? How can we, what caused it? Dig deep. When I was in IT, we would dig for what do they used to call it? Root cause analysis. Why did this thing happen in the first place? And so it's not a blame game. Once you go into a blame game mode, then you're focusing on the negative.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't blame the person when something goes wrong. What went right? In all of those things, I mean, Simone, you do a lot of public speaking, and things can go wrong. Maybe you forgot to say the most important quote or thing that you wanted to say. But the rest of the talk went well. But now, you go away and all you're focusing, oh, my talk was blah, 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 because I forgot to say X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So focus on the positive, focus on what really goes well. Address the negative by all means. You can't skip over it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask you, so what are we going to do with the negative now?
Find the learning. Where's the opportunity for learning? And maybe when you're a leader and you're in that position, now you have a difficult conversation. And those conversations are not easy to have. That's why they're called difficult conversations. So, maybe there's a learning opportunity for you then to go and, okay, how can I have this conversation with this person? How can I coach this person to perform better next time, not to make the same mistake? What processes can we put in place and work with that person? The other thing about leadership, and to me this is not leadership and it's not even management, it's not, you don't have to have all the answers. You work with the people to work out, how can we stop this from happening again? Mm-hmm. Because then you grow that person as well. And being a leader is about allowing other people to grow, giving them opportunities to grow. And then you grow. That person grows. Your business grows. When you just tell people, do this, do that, the other, where's the joy in the work that they can do? Where's the meaning in the work that they do? They don't bring their best selves to work then. So being a leader in your business also means making it meaningful for the people that work for you.
It's very powerful what you said, in particular when you are talking about this focus, because if you think about GTeX, we have expanded rapidly. We went now from literally, you remember there were just Ben and I and Wang when we started, and literally now we are a team of considering contractors as well, 11 people. So it's been a huge learning process for me, in particular around leadership and around management. And I have that kind of personality where I struggle to let go of things because I think I'm the best, and no one can do things as good as I can do them. And I found myself, in particular at the beginning, focusing on what my team was doing wrong. What were the things that weren't working right? Because, of course, they needed to learn, and they had no process or systems whatsoever to help them in that process, right? So it was literally 90% my fault, the fact that we're making these mistakes because they had no procedure to follow. And I found myself really going to this negative, and I could see more and more the things that they were doing wrong. And I became, for a period, I became very bitter. I was like, and literally I called myself and I said, but that's not Simone. I mean, that's not the version of Simone I want to be. And so I decided literally to switch the focus and to say, okay, what are the things that needs to be put in place? There are no systems, no processes. Great, let me slow down, focus on creating processes and system, and put more hours into training rather than keep hours in the growth of the company in terms of sales and marketing. And suddenly things turned around. Literally, things turned around in few months. And I found myself not being bitter anymore, which wasn't who I wanted to be and who I wanted to show up for my team.
Yeah. Well done, Simone. I take my hat off to you. I mean, you cannot grow a business without growing the leader of that business. And the business is only going to grow as much as the leader can grow. There's gonna I don't know if you've heard this expression of hitting the ceiling or the plateau. The
Yeah.
business reaches a plateau,
Yeah.
and the reason that happens is you grow, and then the owner of the business, the manager, whoever runs the business, they can't expand. There's something stopping them from expanding. They need to be able to step up now, whether that is about letting go, whether that is about the next level of learning to manage managers. There's at some point something's gonna happen in a growing business that's going to stop the business growing, and it normally comes down to either the leader can't expand, somebody on your leadership team can't expand, somebody on your team elsewhere this is as far as they can grow. This is as much growth as they can handle and cope with. And sometimes it gets very difficult because, especially if you're a startup business and you have a small team and you get to say about 25 or so people, and now people who've come with you, they're comfortable where they are. They've been terrific, but you need them to step up, and they don't have the capacity, the ability, the capability, or the willingness. They don't want to, and now you have to let them go, because holding on to them in your business is choking your business.
Yeah.
It's holding your business back. And that is a tough thing to do. That is really tough. But if you want your business to grow, part of being a leader is making tough decisions. And I'm not saying it's easy.
No, absolutely,
easy,
in particular
but
because you
you
end up building, like, these are the people that helped you from the very first moment to grow the company. So they've put the sweat, they put the tears, they put the long hours in for you, and then suddenly you got to let them go to the next stage if they're not able to adapt to the new phase of business. And there is a business owner which I respect, which I massively respect, and it was a friend of mine. I mean, we used to work together. It was my employer when I was managing restaurants, and he always said something that I was. That got ingrained in me because of the amount of times that he used to say it. And he used to start every meeting in this way. And I get the reason why. And I thought at the beginning it was a bit harsh and I couldn't understand why he was saying those things. But now I get it. And the thing that he said was, everyone is important, no one is indispensable. Yes. Everyone here is important, no one is indispensable, not even me. And
yes. You just reminded,
No, please keep going.
Yeah, so when I was still working in South Africa, that is, I worked for a company, First National Bank. They used to be Barclays before Barclays disinvested here many, many, many years ago. Anyway, I had a mentor there, became a good friend and so on. And we were talking about this very thing. And he said, just get a bucket of water and stick your hand in that. Now pull your hand out and see what happens. He says, you're indispensable, just like that. Everybody, we all are indispensable, just like that. Because you think, how is this department going to function when I'm not here? How's my business going to function when I'm not here? It's a little bit different when you're your own business, when you own your business.
Yeah.
Because if you're not there, actually, that's something business owners need to take leadership on as well. Take ownership of the fact that they can't be. How do I want to say this? When you have to be there to run your business, when you are the kingpin in your business, then actually you don't have a valuable business. Mm-hmm. And again, it starts with vision. Where do you want to go? And often business owners would be encouraged to, start with how you want to exit. What's going to happen with this business? Are you going to sell it? At what point might you sell it? And then you start putting things in place to make yourself so that you're not the kingpin, so that everything doesn't revolve around you. We're talking maybe bigger businesses now, some businesses like mine. I am the business, It's not a business that I can sell on, but certainly, I think GTeX, you and Ben, you're the faces of GTeX. I'm not sure that GTeX could be sold as a business as it is.
Is really interesting because we were thinking, we actually spent the beginning of the year to the last quarter of last financial year in the beginning of actually January, and we spent an afternoon talking about our exit strategy. Because it's true, this industry, when you are a speaker, a coach, or a trainer, is very dependent on your personal brand. And we have no plan at all to sell GTeX. But the way we are growing GTeX is in a way that can be sold. And the reason why is this, because one day, Ben and I are going to leave. I mean, we have a limited lifespan. I mean, I don't know. Immortality has not been invented yet, so I hope it's gonna be invented within my lifetime. But if not, then one day I'm gonna die. And the question is, do I want the business to die with me? And the answer was no. So there is a big emphasis on our personal brand because that's how people in our industry buy. Like your clients will buy a Rihanna. My clients buy Simone and buy Ben. However, there are intellectual properties, structures, model, patents that can be put in place to then make this business more valuable. And in fact, we had to look at this. We have Ben's father, Jeff, which is now our non-executive director, which is mainly looking at how then can we expand and make it more about the team rather than us? Because I know that if I keep working in the business, I'm going to be the biggest bottleneck. And it took me a while to realize it. But now I got it. And so it's a bit of a catch-22 in our industry because it's such an industry which is based on your face. But if you think about also other organizations, which are large organizations like Millionaire Mind, for example, from T.R. Becker. T.R. Becker managed to sell the company, but they are still using his face, even if it's not his company anymore, they are still using his face to draw people in. But he's never there, and he will never be there.
Yeah, but it's still his intellectual property and the things that he put in place that's being taught at the end of the day.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all his material, all his scripts, all his material, all his product, all his services. Everything is as he designed it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the agreement. But what a great conversation. I really enjoyed this conversation, Riana. Before we wrap up, what I would love to ask you is about GTeX. How did GTeX help you grow your business and help you out in your journey?
Well, I think the great thing about GTeX is that it's full of great people. Like yourself, like Ben, like all the other members. And as a leader, I think it's, in fact, I don't think so. I know so. It's important you hang out with great people who inspire you, people who you can learn from, people who, and just be in a learning environment, because we talked about you need to learn and expand as a leader all the time. The journey doesn't end. And the other thing that I love about GTeX is when you're a lifetime member, you can dip in and out as much as you like, when you like, when you need it. And there are times like, the first 3 months of this year and probably for the next 2 as well, you're not going to see me at GTeX because I just don't have the bandwidth. But I know that I'm still welcome in the community. I know that I can still look up there's loads of courses, membership courses. They're awesome, you know. And when you did a 7-week challenge earlier this year about your business, planning for your business.
Yeah, with the
that's
expert
awesome.
business canvas.
You know, that's right. So there are other ways that I can participate without showing up all the time. And every time you learn something, every time I listen to a podcast, every time I go to an event, it either confirms something that I already know, it shows me a different way to express something, and I just love that, you know, and you learn something new, and it helps with clarity for myself. You know, they say that you teach best how's the story go?
What you need to learn. Is that?
Yes, you teach best what you need to learn most. And the clarity that where I am now for my business to where I was is phenomenal. It's a journey that I struggled with, that clarity. And it's also, I mean, we talked about expand, what you focus on, expand, and there's lots of little snippets like that, like trusting the process. And sometimes you just have to let go and trust the process as well. And so I trust the process of GTeX.
Thank you.
I trust the process of GTeX being a member. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being a lifetime member, Riana. Now, for everyone who wants to know more about the lifetime membership or our courses, there is a link here in the show notes. So make sure that you click the link so then you can get more information, and then schedule a call with one of our business coaches, and we'll take it over from there so we can help and support your business. But now it's time to wrap up, and I want to ask Riana, which has been an incredible interview. I mean, what we shared today was incredibly powerful, in particular because if you apply those principles, the principle of focus, the principle of clarity, the principle of direction, which we told you in this interview, then your business is going to grow. Fact. And you will find that people are going to follow you. You'll find that you'll be the leader that you really want to be. So if someone wants to work with you, Riana, or if someone wants to start following you and see your work and experience your work, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, they can go to my website, www.rianaavis.com. That's RianaAvis.com. And explore, and there is a way that they can contact me either through the contact form, or they can make an appointment directly into my online booking system. Mm-hmm. There's a 15-minute health check that we can do, or we can have a longer conversation. And I love conversations. I love powerful conversations. So yes, do that. And I look forward to whoever checks in there to speak to them.
Fantastic. So make sure that you go on the website, which is rianaavis.com, and click the link that is in the show notes. You will find that the link is going to be in the show notes on the blog post that you are writing. If you are watching this on YouTube, the link will be in the description of the episode. So make sure that you get in touch with Riana. As well, you're running a podcast, you want her as a guest for your show or maybe a Facebook Live show. Make sure that you get in touch with her, because you've already seen the great quality of her content. I definitely love this conversation. So get in touch with Riana at rianaavis.com. Riana, thank you very much for being here on this interview. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you as a guest.
Thank you, Simone. It was lovely to be here. And yes, what a great host you make. Thank you.
Thanks. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening or watching wherever you are. Make sure that you subscribe right now. Hit that juicy subscribe button. I know it's calling you. So subscribe so you don't miss any other episode. Also, leave us a review. Let us know what did you enjoy the most from this episode, we are going to read the best reviews that we receive on our show at the very beginning, in the introduction, so that I can give you a shout out. Make sure you give us a review. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. And always remember that together we grow exponentially. Ciao.